Good day everyone, this is Group 1 and we will be presenting Unit 1, Analysis of Concepts. Module 1 is all about words and concepts. After completing this module, you should be able to 1. Distinguish between a word and a concept, 2. Explain how concepts are formed, and 3. Distinguish between simple and complex terms. Word is the simplest unit of communication in a natural language, and it is an indispensable means of communication. Without words, concepts cannot be formed. Without concepts, various types of knowledge claims cannot be asserted. Without knowledge claims, arguments cannot be composed. Concept is not the same as a word. A word can be used as a sign of concept. Philosophers would refer to a word that is used to express a concept as a term. However, a concept is not made up of letters because you would be identifying the concept of the word and not the concept itself. According to John Locke, a well-known British empiricist, all things that exist in the world are particulars. General terms were invented because every particular can't have a proper name. He called the process an abstraction. General idea is a characteristic common to a group of particulars. An example is sand. You can't name all the bits of sand. It's impossible, or if you can, it's not practical. That's why we use a general term or a general idea to describe the sand. One characteristic they share is that they are the color white. The general idea, white sand, becomes the general term invented for a handful of sand. A cat is a single word used to describe a concept. The King of France is a group of words used to express a concept. They are called terms. Terms are the verbal means of what we know through concepts. Terms may be a word or a group of words. A complex term is made up of several words that represent a single concept, such as the present King of France, the author of Waverley, and the Morning Star. It has the logical form, the so-and-so, according to Bertrand Russell. Concepts are the building blocks of our knowledge. Without the ability to form concepts, human knowledge will not be possible. Next, we have Module 2, Extension and Intension of Concepts. This module will help you enlarge your understanding of what concepts really are. And after completing this module, you should be able to analyze concepts in terms of its extension and intention, distinguish intension in terms of either essential property or family resemblances, and discuss the significance of Wittgenstein's example of the concept games. Every term expressing a concept is analyzable from two aspects, extension and intention. Extension is the kind of things that are members of the domain of the concept, while intension is a trait or set of traits, characteristics, or even functions shared by the members. An example are bats. In extension, the concept of bat denotes all the individual animals regardless of size, shape, or color. On the other hand, in intention, the single trait that all bats have is that they are the only mammals capable of sustained flight like a bird. Essential property is precise and well-defined. The possession of a single trait is the necessary and sufficient condition to qualify one to be a member of the extension of the concept. An example is a mammal. The only trait they share is the mammary glands, since they share no other observable characteristics. The essentialist believes that for a concept to be meaningful, the intension of the concept should be limited to an essential property only. If there is no essential property, the concept cannot be meaningful. Wittgenstein, from his book The Philosophical Investigations, challenged the essentialist view that for a general term to be meaningful, there must be an essential property held in common by the members. Examples are games such as board games, card games, ball games, Olympic games, and so on. He asks, what single trait or characteristic is common to all games? Is there always winning and losing, or competition among players? Is there always amusement or enjoyment among players? You have to look and see whether there is something in common. If you start looking and seeing, you will find that there is no essential property held by all activities we call games. However, what you will find is, according to Wittgenstein, a complicated network of similarities overlapping and crisscrossing, sometimes overall similarities, sometimes similarities in detail. We call this family resemblance. It is a family of traits, characteristics, and functions rather than an essential property that make the use of general terms stable. Additionally, Wittgenstein warns us not to assume that there must be an essential property held in common by them. If you look and see, most concepts are regulated and made stable only by a family resemblance of traits and characteristics and not by a single essential property.
Then we have Module 3, using the same language. After studying this module, you should be able to describe how a word acquires meaning, distinguish ambiguous and vague concepts, avoid useless verbal controversies, and apply a cardinal rule in critical thinking. Well, first of all, what is a word? A word takes on a meaning through how people who belong to the same verbal community use it either orally or in written form. It can serve as a name for persons, places, or things, combined in a sentence to express a command, a wish, or an intention, and it is used to ask a question, offer an explanation, or state a fact. However, Wittgenstein frowns on artificial uses of language like sense data, substance, ideas, and the absolute, since it has no form of life. The language games are unplayable by real people in real-life situations. According to Wittgenstein, to understand the meaning of a word is to understand how it is used in a given language game. A word may have a different meaning when used in a different context. An example could be the word cap. In one way, its meaning is a cover-on. Another can mean lie in slang. Even simply saying the words bill or check to a waiter in a restaurant can already indicate an order in this specific context. Understanding these shifts in meaning requires familiarity with the specific linguistic and cultural contexts in which such words are used. According to lexicographers, words have a history. A word comes to being when it is used for the first time, and when a word gains currency, the same use of the word becomes either conventional or standard. It is used in more or less the same way. Examples are father, mother, brother, and more. Another is when a word may acquire different meanings through different uses. It is called ambiguous. An example could be the words some and many, where in many cases becomes vague. Take note that words can be reborn and used again. Sometimes people have disagreements due to not informing each other of the use of the word, especially when the word is used uniquely by both parties. An example is God, which can be uttered differently by different people, which can be viewed as disrespectful to some groups of people as well. This can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts if not addressed early on. Recognizing and respecting these differences is crucial in fostering meaning conversations and mutual understanding. Cardinal rule: you need to ask what they mean by that word. Make sure you understand the meaning, especially if you are uttering the same word. And you should never take part in any discussion or verbal dispute unless you are both sure that you are using the words in the same way. It helps to ensure clarity and prevent misunderstandings, which can escalate conflicts unnecessarily. Module 4 is the classification of concept. After completing this module, you should be able to distinguish the 7 main categories of concept and apply techniques for classifying concepts and apply the intra- and intersubjectivity tests. There is no fixed classification of concepts, since categories may evolve and others might disappear. However, there are 7 categories available: empirical, analytic, evaluative, fictitious, metaphysical, dispositional, and theoretical concepts. First, empirical concept means you'll easily be able to observe it. It is tangible and visible to the world. Theoretical concept means you need to have an instrument or a very powerful sensory extending device to see its members. Some examples include atoms and particles. There are 2 types of sensory extending devices: the macro-universe, which observes galaxies said to be 40 million light-years away from Earth, and the micro-universe, which observes microorganisms such as germs and viruses. There is also a middle universe where the world of tables and chairs, which you are familiar with. Next is dispositional concept, and this means you need to have certain operations performed, like putting some iron fillings near an object, and if the iron fillings adhere to an object, then that certain object is magnetic. The analytic concept means entities which cannot be found in the world. It is created simply in our minds. Examples are the concepts of numbers and circles. These concepts are abstract and serve as the foundational elements for logical reasoning and mathematical theories. By understanding and manipulating these constructs, we can gain insights into the patterns and structures that govern various aspects of our world, even if they do not have a tangible presence in reality. An evaluative concept has the concepts of morality, aesthetic, and religion. It judges the worth or value of a person, action, behavior, event, place, and etc. These evaluations often influence how individuals perceive and interact with the world, shaping decisions and guiding behaviors based on personal or societal values. Understanding these concepts can lead to a deeper appreciation of diverse perspectives and a more empathetic approach to differences in belief and practice. Fictitious concept is purely imaginary. It is misleading in a way where fictitious concepts pretend to be empirical. Examples are ghosts and mermaids. These concepts often serve as a means of exploring human imagination and creativity. They can be found in folklore, literature, and art, captivating audiences with their mysterious allure. Despite their lack of empirical evidence, fictitious concepts continue to fascinate and inspire many. Finally, metaphysical concepts use the concept of God, mind, and matter. It is eternal, and so it cannot be destroyed unless destroyed by God. There is also another concept by the idealist philosophers, and that is the absolute. It is characterized as a universal mind and composed of the totality of all minds, past and present, and to come together with all ideas. And for the application of intersubjectivity tests, we must note that these are used in epistemology and all sciences. The intersubjectivity refers to the being able to observe the entity anytime you want to, while the intersubjectivity test refers to other people being able to observe the same entity too. If they fail, they are fictitious. An example is an angel. If you're the only one who can see, smell, taste, or hear the angel, then it fails. The entity should pass both tests. Also note that the nature of all empirical claims are only contingent and never certain. An example is the demotion of the planet Pluto into an asteroid. These tests highlight the importance of objectivity and reproducibility in scientific observations. They serve as a foundational principle in distinguishing between subjective experiences and empirical evidence. Understanding this distinction allows scientists to build a reliable and universally accepted body of knowledge. Thank you for watching.